I want to dedicate this episode. One topic the elephant in the room, the elephant, Pokemon. I'll just talk about crypto. The Monero blockchain was taken over by a company called Qubic. Qubic are one of the miners of the Monero coin.
It's come a long way, man. Since 2009, where, Bitcoin just bought 2 pizzas, to where we are now at 2.6 trillion. If BTC was just a company in the world, would it be like number 4 or 5? We're not trying to say we're the biggest experts in this.
We're not even experts at all. Welcome to Admin Access. Not only are we AI propaganda, but we'll soon be selling you a course. Dominic,
You're gonna pay for it.
huh? It's going to be about, you're going to pay for it in Bitcoins, Doge only.
I guess we already set the stage for what you're about to be chatting today.
Yes.
About, but yeah.
But before you start, congratulations. Honeycoin has just raised some extraordinary amounts of money. Wow. And if you guys have openings, again, call me.
I would actually take that very seriously. I might just do that.
I code for money.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a long grind, man. Getting there. The raise means a lot to us and to our mission. We've chatted a lot on this podcast about payments, fintech, and I'm obviously very passionate about that, and that's what we try to do every day. We try to power use cases for not only stablecoin payments.
Give us the one sentence for our viewers who have not interacted with your product.
We are trying to build the best payment orchestration platform on the continent. You can receive and pay out funds anywhere on the continent of Africa and make it as seamless and as fast as sending a message. And yeah, it's a very simple mission, but also entails a lot of work underneath, because we've now had to explore many technologies to be able to make that efficient. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to aggregating different payment systems on the continent. Like every country, for instance, in Africa has a different mobile network operator that's big for them, and let's say mobile money is big, so you have to stitch together so many mobile network operators to just provide efficient mobile money payments in many countries. And it's the same thing for bank payments. It's the same thing if you're trying to process payments through cards. And so what we try to do is do the best job at processing that as possible. And that occasionally involves leveraging, stablecoin usage to meet that end. And
so you basically make money move.
We are trying to build the OS to make money move.
That's fair. Congratulations. And to celebrate your monumentous achievements, I want to dedicate this episode to the one topic the elephant in the room, the elephant, Pokemon of all the topics that we have yet to cover somehow. I'll just talk about crypto.
Yeah, yes, crypto.
But
in true AA fashion,
where we have nuance, balance, and choice words, we are going to skip the intro and go directly into the meats.
Yeah, the intro is everywhere, to be honest. And it would be a bit, I think it would also be a bit unfair. We're not trying to say we're the biggest experts in this. And so our approach is basically we try and find the thing that we are seeing most interesting.
We're not even experts at all.
That's actually true. But it's only the fool who thinks themselves wise.
Yeah. So there was an interesting development
Let's go.
A few days ago where the blockchain Monero was under the 51% attack. And we thought this would be a very interesting topic to talk about, because, whenever we're talking about crypto, it's about, government, we want to sell drugs and you have to be private.
Want to sell drugs?
Yes.
That's like 14, bro.
Yeah. That's why we left crypto. But since we're back, I want to talk about something that we think people will find interesting, and that's 51%.
I think we need to preempt by saying you're the You're usually the crypto hater.
Private, fast, and secure
Mm-hmm.
is what people describe crypto. But I want to unpeel one of those layers, which is the security, and not just from scammers. I mean, we all scammers in one way or the other. Anyway, not the show. I am not a scammer yet.
When you start selling courses,
when we start selling courses, then you guys will have the right. But I want to talk about the security aspect of it, and more so around the existential threats that tends to come with the maturity of such systems. In this case, I'm talking about 51% attack. And to let me talk about the case itself. So the Monero blockchain was taken over by a company called Qubic. Qubic are one of the miners of the Monero coin. And this is a $6 billion fund that was taken over by a $300 million fund.
No. It's a $6 billion
market cap that was taken hostage, or theoretically taken hostage by this company. And what they did, again, once they're able to get the 50% threshold, which I'll let you expound on, they could basically do whatever they want with the network. There are a few ways that they could block or change what's going on, and I want you to give us an intro to the 51% attack.
So, the 51% attack in a proof of work blockchain is when a single entity literally controls the majority of the mining power, which is also known as the hash rate. And the reason why that's bad is because with that majority power, that entity can essentially try to cheat the system. They can do the things that the blockchain fundamentally at its core proposes to solve. They can double spend, they can reverse transactions and things like that. And I think it's important for us to kind of, we don't want to touch the basics too much, but maybe it's important for us to try and mention, like, what is proof of work, what is proof of stake, what is a blockchain
in a kind of,
in a 101, and maybe you can skip to this point. You know all the basics.
In a kind of a nutshell, we have computers. We have computers that need to agree on the state of information in the system.
Yeah, but what is the system? The system is the blockchain.
The system is a blockchain. Actually, no, the system is the data, is the information, the state.
Correct.
So, for example, your balance, my balance, right? And you all need to agree on everyone's balance. And whenever a transaction happens, we need to agree on, now this is where we are at. So we have different parties who don't know each other, but need to come to a consensus.
Correct.
So the key word there being consensus, that they need to agree
that this record is indeed true.
Yes.
And this record that we have said is indeed true, we have this ledger of transactions that is maintained by both of us. We both have a copy of it.
Yes.
Correct.
So as more and more people join the network, it gets secure in the sense that it's hard for one person to change the record. But in a case where a number of people join forces, they can in theory take over, or suggest. They
can in theory add a transaction to the network, and because they have more control,
it's like they're voting
resources,
and since they vote in full, they have the majority of the votes. Whatever they say goes. Now, when it started,
is it called a filibuster?
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. It's more like a veto.
It's more like veto power.
Yes.
Yeah, and that pretty much covers it. You all know blockchains are distributed ledgers. Unlike centralized database systems, this one is open to networks, to like a system of nodes, basically computers all maintaining a copy of the transactions, right? How do you add transactions to this particular network? Through consensus, as you brought it up. Like, we basically have to have a mechanism where we agree how transactions are added to this particular record. Now, the two biggest ones, but there's so many other flavors, would be proof of work, proof of stake, and there's things like delegated proof of stake. There's so many. But the two big ones that power the biggest blockchains, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's POW and POS, proof of work, proof of stake. Proof of work is where basically we all try to solve for a puzzle, And ideally, the person who solves it first is able to broadcast, and we all agree, and the transaction record. And this person is incentivized to keep doing that and allocating a lot of compute resources to try and crack this puzzle by the rewards that they gain.
It's a kind of a winner take all.
It's kind of a winner take all.
If say we are 10 people and I have the fastest machine, I will probably win that round every single time.
And now that explains the rationale as to why there are mining pools.
Yes.
Because imagine it's like casting a vote against the whole city, but it's just you and your family against the whole city. So you'd rather like find some consensus around people of like mind, and together we agree if any of us wins this, we share it.
We'll share the profit.
So mining pools are also an economic incentive. It's actually interesting because the Bitcoin network, for instance, is like 57% controlled by 3 big pools.
Actually, I think it's 4.
Okay, 4. So give or take. Yeah.
There are 3 Chinese companies that I think contribute to 40%.
40%.
And then there's the foundry in US that I believe is at 20-something%.
Which actually brings an interesting angle. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll get into it. Like the geopolitics of that, right? The geopolitics of that is like a bit crazy. But yeah, so that's proof of work in a nutshell. And now, theoretically, the 51% attack is a danger to any proof of work.
If I can convince enough people to join my pool to the point where we own 51% of the mining pool, then I control 100%. Because not only do I have a better chance of getting the next block, but I can also I can block any new block from getting to that consensus. So I have full control of the process. So in this case, Qubic got to a point where I think there were like 5 or so blocks that they rewrote. They didn't say that they wanted to, to take over the chain, but they were just, okay. It was one big flex for them to say that, hey, we can bring this down if you want to.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because this is the whole point of blockchain and crypto was to run away from centralization, and yet the method that we use to enshrine this decentralized system leads to centralizations.
That's argumentative because, and we will still on that argument a bit later. Let's just finish on Monero. There is, let me say, there's some game theory psyche behind why it's more costly for you to try and maintain or at least own like 51% of mining hash rate in a network. One, it's an extremely expensive endeavor to do. One thing that's very interesting as well is to kind of, and maybe we can do this at a later point, or the nerds here can go and read about it, is how Qubic was able to do that. They actually were able to move from like 2% mining hash rate to over 50 in May this year, 2025, they had like 2%. And in August, we're talking above over 50%. And why Monero specifically? Monero is also a very interesting blockchain.
Yes.
And that is another thing to kind of mention. And we're not going to go deep into, but you can go to CoinMarketCap here and you can read about like the top.
For the most part, they have been delisted on a number of exchanges.
Yes.
These guys are freedom to the core.
Freedom,
no control.
Freedom,
it's like
anonymous transactions. Like it's completely anonymous transactions. I think one thing to keep a note over is Monero. The promise of Monero is to keep all the transactions, like the sender details, the receiver details, and amounts, very pretty much
truly anonymous.
Yeah, and secured by a bunch of cryptography. So every time that folks have even the governments have tried to decrypt like people behind Monero, like the community is almost getting ahead.
They have a strong community.
They have a very strong community.
But that is also a double-edged sword in so much as now
illicit use skills as well
becomes smaller, which means that it's much more easy to have the 51 for a group of people to collude and get to the 51% attack threshold, as opposed to a much bigger network such as Bitcoin. Even though it's not completely immune, it is important to note that it's not quite likely, especially in the bigger chains, due to the number of resources you need to pull. You need to get so many miners on your pool, and again, Makes it harder, but not impossible.
No, that's the thing I think I like about crypto and blockchains in general. Many different flavors of blockchains have different philosophies behind. Like some are optimizing for speed. A project like Monero is optimizing for, let me say it's on the extreme end of decentralization and privacy. But because of that, the biggest risk now is centralized mining as a security concern.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with the case of Qubic, right? And so, like every chain, in fact, like the 51% attack has not just happened to Monero alone. It's affected a bunch of other blockchains. I think like Ethereum Classic. Yeah, and so this is like and
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin. Some argue as well about like proof of stake blockchains as well. So how they fundamentally differ from like proof of work is that, unlike proof of work where we all work, we're all spending resources to try and, crack this code and get the reward if you're the fastest one. Proof of stake is more like delegated validation. So it's by how much skin you have in the game with regards to how much of the native token of that particular blockchain you have staked as a miner.
It's like locking up an amount that
you
cannot use.
Yes. You lock up an amount that you cannot use, one. And then it's almost like a lottery steal, but you have like a high weighting. It's like the way, it's just like a massive lottery game that is skewed towards the person who's take the most. And they also like big penalties as well. If you try to game the system, if you try to add transactions that are not there in the block, you can actually lose all your staked funds. So most of the time, whatever you're staking is pretty much more than what you would earn in rewards as you keep mining.
So in proof of work, the risk is the resources that you've poured into trying to mine.
Yes.
Whereas in proof of stake, the risk is the amount that you stake.
Yes.
That you are likely to lose should you do any funny business.
Yes, and arguably, that also brings in the question of fairness, and that's why there are now still many more consensus mechanisms that come in, things like delegated proof of stake and so on and so forth. But we don't want to get into the weeds too much about that. But it's a very interesting, when you start reading up on a lot of these projects, you begin to understand why one is interesting about that.